What you are about to hear is a recording that I made calling GameStop right after dealing with the most obscene, idiotic employees that I've had the misfortunate pleasure of dealing with. Now, the GameStop I'm referring to, I'm going to actually just call them out. The Paramus Park GameStop. This is not slander or anything. This is just the truth. I don't know what stick you have up your ass, but I never had a good experience in your store since it was converted to a GameStop. When you guys were EB Games, you guys had more sense and also common sense. But since you guys switched to GameStop, you guys have, attitude problems as well as acting immature and unprofessional. I went into the store to buy a Killzone trilogy, brand new, for $29.99. They actually had a $10 cheaper price than anyone else, including Amazon, which was shocking. The game is, of course, rated mature. As soon as the guy scans it, he asks me for the usual crap such as, do you have a GameStop card? You should get one, No, I don't shop there often because of people like you. They then proceed with the fun, hey, show us your ID. Now, my biggest problem with showing ID is the fact that I am an adult. I'm 24. I do not look like a kid. The problem with them is they claim it's the law. They claim that they are required by law to check everyone's ID to verify their age to purchase rated mature content. That couldn't be any further from the truth. I called GameStop and I found out it's actually a different story. For one, there are links below. You will see a link to GameStop Playground parents page where the very bottom bold says EB Games /GameStop rating policy. If you read there, you will see that it just explains how their policy works when it comes to carding. And it turns out that they aren't supposed to be carding everybody. They're supposed to be using their common sense and discretion to, kind of understand that a guy who's wrinkly and has a beard shouldn't be carded. Now, I'm not wrinkly, but I do have a beard. The other page you will see is the ESRB Retailers Frequently Asked Questions page. You will see you can click, it's the second to last on the frequently asked questions. You'll see, is it illegal to sell or rent rated mature games or adult only games to consumers? You click on it, it will give you the exact definition that there are in fact no laws, and there can never be a law that restricts the sale of rated M or adult only games to minors. It is considered unconstitutional to do so, and this was in fact decided by the U.S. Supreme Court in 2011. Therefore, that means any store that is telling you it's the law, they're lying pieces of shit. It's not the law. So enjoy the phone call. As I have to say, this lady was the absolute best person I've ever spoken to for any problem I've ever had with any company. She agrees with me. She even basically calls the people at that store idiots, and I love it. Enjoy.
Thank you for calling GameStop customer service. My name is How can I help you?
Hello. My name is John. And I went shopping at the Paramus Park GameStop. There is a feedback number. Should I give you that?
Yeah, go ahead. Okay. And what happened at...
Well, this is actually a problem that seems to be happening a lot at your stores. I'm a 24-year-old man, and when I go to buy a rated mature video game, I'm constantly being pestered for ID. Now, I wouldn't have a problem if the thing, how can I say this? If the experience was a little bit more professional. But the particular manager at this store, not Ryan, which is the guy who rang me up, but there was another gentleman with him who was telling me that it's the law for you guys to be carding for video games. And the thing is that this isn't the first time I've been told that this is the law. A lot of times your managers will tell me that, oh, the ESRB mandates that we do this, that this is the law, this is the law. Well, I went on to ESRB's website, And they actually have a frequently asked questions section that says, is it illegal to sell or rent rated mature or adult-only rated games to consumers under the age of 17 and 18 of years, respectively? And it says, a ruling by the U.S. Supreme Court in 2011 found that video games are a constitutionally protected form of expression and that laws restricting their sale or rental based upon violent content are unconstitutional. Therefore, there's no law. So now, a simple, it's our policy would have been fine with me. I would have a lot more respect for that. But the guy proceeded to get snappy with me, or he became very immature. For someone who's a manager of a store, if a consumer goes to you and says, hey, look, I have a problem with this, at least try to handle it professionally. The guy was mocking me, saying, every time I said, well, sir, it's not the law, I asked him, can you show me? If you're telling me there's a law, I want to know why you believe there's a law. The guy says, it is. So I said, well, sir, it's not. He's like, it is. I said, sir, I'm telling you, I've looked. And then he goes, well, look on Google. Google will tell you that it is a law. And I'm telling him, I'm saying, look, I've already researched this. I'm annoyed because I'm 24 and I'm constantly being carded for video games, where I've been to countless liquor stores and not once have I ever been carded to buy liquor. And I've bought cigarettes for somebody. Not once have I ever been carded for cigarettes. But yet, something simple as rated 17 and older, I'm constantly being asked for ID, which, as a mature adult, I have a problem with that. Now, I did look at your website. And your website, you have, it's called gamestop.com/stores/playground/parents. And at the bottom it says GameStop/EB Games rating policy. And at the end it says, we do not sell, reserve, or offer mature rated games to customers under 17 years of age. When a mature game is scanned, an ESRB advisory appears on the register screen requiring employees to ask any underage customer for a valid photo ID, unless accompanied by a parent or guardian. Now, the problem I have with that statement is I'm not underage, but yet I'm still being asked. I have a full beard. I've come in a suit and tie once, and you guys still asked me. I was with my wife, and you still asking me for ID. And it's a problem, because one day I'll go into your store, which it has happened. I didn't have my ID on me. And yeah. I was told, no, sir, no, you can't. And it's, when I go to Target, they will have a manager override it, because that's where I tend to buy most of my games. Every time it says, look, no, we have to scan your ID, or the system won't allow it, a manager will override it. Best Buy, same deal. They will override it for me. But based on the way your website states how you guys would ask, I could understand if I looked like a child. But there is no doubt in anyone's mind that I'm over 17. You can look at me and tell that I'm an adult. That's probably why I've never been carded for alcohol. But the other problem was, I went to a GameStop about a year ago, and my brother wanted a strategy guide for Fallout New Vegas. Now, that strategy guide has a little logo on the bottom that says, this guide is for a rated mature video game. The guide itself is not rated mature, but the video game that you would buy it for is. My brother and I were required to show government-issued ID to buy a book. And as I asked the lady, why are you asking me for ID for a book? It's rated mature. Well, the book's not rated mature. There is no book ratings. There has never been a rating systems for books. But she's telling me that I need to show ID because the guide corresponds with a game that's rated mature. That's another problem. And it is becoming a major issue for me, because it's not only the fact that I, express my, displeasure of being asked for ID all the time. It's the response that I'm given that I have a problem with. If it, either there needs to be training or something, I don't know, but I do not appreciate being treated immaturely, unprofessionally, when I've done nothing but express my maturity. When someone asks for my ID, I say, look, I'm an adult. Why do you need to see my ID? Well, we have to. We have to check everyone's ID. It's like, so you're going to check a guy who's 80 years old that walks through the door, you're going to check his ID? Really? I mean, it just becomes a problem. As an adult, I do not like being pestered.
Yeah.
And as I said, the moment you tell me it's a law, I know my laws. I've done my research, but the guy was very unprofessional. He was mocking me and treating me like a child, and I do not appreciate that. As I said, you guys used to be really good. I don't know what has happened with your stores lately. Same thing goes for new games. I have a problem with that as well. When you guys ring up a new copy and you hand me an opened copy as new, that's actually against the law. I actually have this bookmarked. It's called the Deceptive Trade Practices Act, which was passed in the 70s. And one of the things that they actually have listed is represents that goods represents that goods are original or new if they are deteriorated, altered, reconditioned, reclaimed, used, or secondhand. The definition of new is factory sealed condition. So when you guys gut a game to use as a display case, it's no longer new. But I've had employees tell me it's new, that it's never been put into a game console, and that's their so-called definition of new. So I've asked them, I said, if I buy a brand new sealed copy from you guys, and I open it up in front of you in the store, and ask you for a refund, would you give me a refund? He said, no, because you opened it, it's not new. Okay, so why can you guys open up new games and then claim it's new? There are times where I buy a game, and I've done this once where it was opened and it was missing manuals, it was missing content, and yet I was still told it would have to be a $60 price point. That is violating a law that has existed since the 70s. These are my big concerns. I want to shop at your stores. I want to give you guys business, but every time I go in there, I'm being fed lies. I'm being fed, unprofessional responses. I present myself the way I'm presenting myself to you is exactly the way I was presenting myself in the store. Do I come off as, abrasive? Maybe. I don't know. But it's just, treat me like an adult.
Yeah.
Especially when your website doesn't say they have to card me. They said they card underage people. Yeah,
if they're underage, that's the only time they will card.
But they're carding, and every time I go there, they card. And I'm 24.
I can see what you mean. That's just more irritating because you already passed that time frame, and they shouldn't be carding you.
Exactly. And hey, if I was being carded for alcohol, then okay, maybe there's something to this. But I never.
Yeah. You're never carded for that, even when you had to buy a cigarette. You weren't even carded for that.
Yes.
No.
So I don't know.
The only thing I can really do is I can forward this information to the higher up. It's not going to be a callback. That's the only problem. But it will be something that they look into this over at every location or every store that you have gone to and see if it's just a recurring issue. Does it happen very often? Do they do this to multiple people that are over age and they still card?
I guess maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I'm not familiar with what the policy is. Do they have to card me when I'm 24?
I mean, I know they shouldn't card you, but if you look underage, then yeah, they can ask. For your ID.
Trust me, if I showed you a photo of me, there's no mistaking. Like, I could understand if I had that baby face, but I don't. I have a full friggin' beard. I just, it is a pain. But you are saying that it should be at the discretion of an employee to kind of use common sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so they don't have to card me if I do look of reasonable age.
Yeah, like how the website says if you're underage, they'll card you. But if you look like you're underage, then that's when they'll be like, okay, well, I need to see your ID.
See, that's the thing. They're just carding me because the register says to card people. That's the thing. So it's more of they're not using any thought process. It's just, hey, look, register tells me to card. I worked in retail. I've worked in stores where we would sell, knives or something. So if a kid came up to me trying to buy a pocket knife or something, I'm not going to sell it to them. But if it's an adult, there's a clear distinction between them. And that's what I have a problem with. And this happens at the Paramus Park location. This happens at the Bergen Mall location, as well as the Garden State Plaza location. Those are the three that I tend to go to the most, and I've always been carded. And as I said, the Garden State Plaza is the one where I got carded for a strategy guide.
Yeah, that was pretty dumb, though, because, it's a strategy guide. It's not, like you said, it's not actual content that it will have that's rated 17 or up, but it's just a game that it comes with, or a game that it would be toward it. That's where it's actually be rated.
I could understand if we were buying the game as well, but we weren't. We were just buying the strategy guide.
The strategy guide. Yeah.
But I definitely appreciate speaking with you, even though it did take quite a while. But it definitely makes me feel a little bit better knowing that this isn't the exact proper procedure that they should be carrying. And it gets to the point where some people tend to call the police when they go to a store to say, look, you're telling me it's the law. Okay, tell this police officer that's the law. Because the police officer will look up the law and tell the guy, look, you need to sell to this guy. Because it's technically age discrimination. Technically.
Yeah.
Yes, you guys have every right to have whatever policy you want. I'm not denying you guys that. But it is, in fact, when it becomes annoying, because honestly, it is at that point where I've actually refused to buy something. I would go to a store, I had 2 games, Bayonetta and Gran Turismo 5. I go up to that store, the one that I'm calling about right now. Oh, sir, you need ID. Okay, screw you. I'm not going to buy it. I whipped out my phone in the store and bought it on Amazon. That's the kind of thing where it's just out of spite or out of principle. You're going to give me a hard time to buy a game. I'm going out of my way to go to your store, and it's just the way, I'm treated. And I say I can understand if I was, acting immature. I can understand if I cursed them out. I can understand if I did any of those things, but I don't. I try to present myself in a proper manner. But I really do appreciate speaking with you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. You have a nice day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.